Hey, what's up everyone? Maji here. This week I am bringing you a guide to the Shattered Heart members only distraction and diversion. In this guide, I will be explaining a little bit about the basics behind this distraction and diversion, as well as showing you the methods I use to obtain the rocks and the way that I group them together. First, I'm going to cover the basics, so if you're not interested in that and want to skip right straight ahead to the good stuff, click the annotation on the screen now. So first, I'm going to cover a little bit about the basics. It's a members-only distraction and diversion, which centers around collecting 2 strange rocks for each of the 15 non-combat related skills each week. These rocks will appear randomly in your inventory while you're training these skills, or they will appear automatically inside a statue collection bag, assuming you have it and have it with you in your inventory. Whenever you obtain both rocks for a certain skill, you can use these rocks on a statue plinth in the Varrock Museum to be rewarded experience for that skill based on your level. The higher the level you have, the more experience you'll get, up to a maximum of 9,703 experience for a level 99 skill. These rocks have to be added to the statue in pairs. You have to at least have both rocks for each skill to be able to add it to the statue. The statue in the Varrock Museum that you're rebuilding is a statue of Damarok, who is a mage during the Second Age of Guylanar. For more information on him, you can visit his wiki page, which I have linked down in the description. When you complete the entire statue, you'll earn a replica piece of the statue so that you can build your very own version in your player-owned house. If this is the first time you've done this distraction and diversion, you'll also be giving a statue plinth to place in your player-owned house on a hotspot. You can only complete the statue once per week, and to be able to completely finish this distraction and diversion, it will take at least 30 weeks. So that means pretty much a total of 900 strange rocks. You can speak to Barnabus Hurma in the Varrock Museum to get your statue collection bag, which, as I mentioned earlier, will store the rocks you get and add rocks to it automatically if it's in your inventory when you receive a rock. This is highly recommended because you can store pretty much 30 bank spaces worth of rocks into just one little spot. After you receive a rock, the chance of receiving the next rock for that specific skill is cut in half, while the chance to receive rocks in all the other non-combat skills will remain the same. So pretty much essentially this means that it is better to switch skills to obtain the rocks faster. So for example, if you get a rock in a certain skill, it's better to switch up a skill and then get another rock in another skill and then switch back afterwards to be able to get them faster. This isn't always the case, but in most cases it really is. For the next part of the guide, I'm going to show you the ways that I obtain the rocks each week, and most of these are the fastest methods as proven by the RuneScape wiki, but some of them are slightly different. I usually pair cooking and fletching together to start off the week, mainly because I can do them both straight in the Varrock Cooking Guild. But if by chance you can't do that there, I would probably suggest the Rogue's Den, since it's right next to a banker pretty much. So pretty much the closer to a bank you are, the better in this case. For cooking, you can cook pretty much anything you want, but I usually either choose raw monkfish, shark, or rocktail using the cooking gauntlets. For fletching, you pretty much have to cut logs into unstrung bows. That is the most efficient method, and my kingdom is set to get me logs, maple logs from miscellanea each week, so I pretty much just fletch unstrung maple longbows. Of course, you can fletch whatever you feel like, but these usually work pretty quick for me. So, as mentioned before, with the 2 skill things, once I get a rock in cooking, I will start fletching until I get the fletching rock. Then I will switch back to cooking, and then back to fletching until I have both rocks for both of those 2 skills. Next up, I pair smithing, crafting, and thieving together. I do these in the Edgeville area because the furnace is right there, as well as men to thieve. So for smithing, I usually smelt gold ore into gold bars using the Edgeville furnace. and then I will turn around afterwards and craft the gold bars from the smelting into either gold bracelets, necklaces, or rings, depending on GE price. But here recently, or since the potion flask update, I've been getting most of my crafting rocks from glass blowing robust glass into potion flasks. So that is another option for you as well if you have the ability to do that. And finally, thieving. You can either do this by pickpocketing the men in Edgeville, which is really highly click intensive, or if you choose to go another method, you can pickpocket the master farmer in Drainer Village, which is a left click option only. The next three skills that I'll pair together are fishing, fire making, and hunter. These I pair together because I do them up at the Piscatoris fishing colony, where you fish monkfish. But of course, if you don't have access to this place, you can pretty much fish anything you want, fire make anywhere you want. But for hunter, you'd be a little bit out of luck for this method unless you fish somewhere close to the Piscatoris fishing colony. For fishing, of course, is fishing monkfish. This by far has the best rate for getting the fishing rocks, so if you don't have the ability to fish monkfish, I highly suggest you get the ability to do it and complete the quest to do so. After I get the fishing rock, I switch to fire making by burning maple logs I get from Miscellanea each week into bonfires outside of the Piscatoris Bank. Or if you prefer, you can still do it the old style method where you just burn a long line of fire. And once I have both fishing and fire making rocks, I will head down to the Falconry area just south of Piscatoris, and I'll do Falconry, which seems to be the fastest rate for hunter, although it is quite click intensive and very boring, and it is usually the slowest skill to get, even though Falconry is one of the fastest methods for hunter. You can also choose to do Herblore habitat if you want. They get the rocks fairly quick too, but I usually don't because this just seems a lot easier to me to pair these three skills together up in this one general location. Next up is a couple of slow skills, but they're still not too bad. It's grouping Herblore, Agility, and Construction together. For Herblore, the fastest method that I've found so far is pretty much cleaning grimy herbs, or you can add seconds to unfinished potions as well, but if you do the cleaning herbs method, you can actually profit from the skill, although it's not very much. The next skill after I get the Herblore rocks is Agility, and for these I would suggest either the Advanced Gnome course or the Advanced Barbarian courses. If for some reason you don't have the level to do either one of these, you can pretty much train for these rocks at any Agility course, so you pretty much get the chance by completing laps. Or if you choose to do the Brimhaven Agility course, you'll have to earn 10 Agility tickets to get a chance at a rock, which is really inefficient. So I highly suggest just running laps around the Agility courses for your chance at getting strange rocks. And the third skill in this match is Construction. For these, you can either do oak flat packing or make limestone brick fireplaces. Usually for me, just due to the cost and the fact that it's simple and pretty much easy to do, I usually do the limestone brick fireplaces in my player-owned house. As you can see, I mean, it's a little bit click intensive and boring and somewhat slow, but it's all in all not bad, and it doesn't really cost all that much to do. At this point in the week, there's only 4 skills remaining. Those 4 skills are farming, mining, woodcutting, and runecrafting. Now these are a little bit different than the previous skills because I've technically grouped them together, but I don't really do them together. The first of these is farming, and just due to the nature of the skill, I pretty much recommend doing the skill throughout the entire week and focusing on the other skills while you're waiting on your stuff to grow. But doing herbs and allotments are the fastest that I've found so far. So usually I'm planting the highest level herbs that I can and cleaning them to hopefully earn Herblore rocks, and farming watermelon seeds into watermelon for the allotments. For the mining rocks, I would highly suggest mining gold in the Living Rock Caverns on World 84. as you can see from the clip, I actually gained 2 strange rocks pretty much almost right back to back with each other, within a few seconds of each other, so this is definitely the best method. But if you can't use living rock caverns, I suppose you could pretty much mine just about anywhere, as long as you're mining. But if by chance you can't do the living rock caverns, I would recommend mining pure essence or rune essence. And if you are in a clan and you have the ability to use the mining plot, you can also obtain the mining rocks at your clan's citadel, which I've done before in the past. But the living rock caverns is by far faster. The next skill I want to discuss is woodcutting. Ivy is probably the fastest method that I know of to gather the rocks, but I usually choose to gather those through the clan citadel, since I usually visit that right after the build tick, and I usually just woodcut while watching TV or something, and I'm almost all the time get both strange rocks while woodcutting in the citadel. But if by chance I only get one, like I did this past week, I will then head to Ivy and sit there for a few minutes until I get the second. The final skill of the week is runecrafting. And pretty much since the release of the rune span, this is now the easiest method, because you're pretty much AFKing it. But you can probably get the rocks slightly faster by runecrafting the conventional way. But like I say, personally, I prefer the more AFK method of doing runespan for the runecrafting rocks, as you usually get both of them fairly quickly. So once you have all 30 rocks, you can head to the Varrock Museum and empty your statue collection bag if you have your rocks in there, or start adding to the statue plinth if you have the rocks in your inventory. And once you add all the rocks, a small little cutscene will appear, and here's that for you to watch. Pretty much, you build a statue, and it comes to life briefly, but then it cracks and explodes, and you'll be given a replica statue piece of your own to add to a statue in your player-owned house. Just like with the statue in the Varrock Museum, you can only add rocks in pairs to the one in your player-owned house, so you have to have 2 of them to be able to add them to your house. So, as you can see here, I am adding the rock that I got last week plus the rock that I got this week to my statue. This leaves me with 8 weeks to go, which means I completed 22 weeks of this. And pretty much this statue that you can build in your player-owned house is purely cosmetic. So there's really no reward besides the experience. So if you like the guide, go ahead and toss it a thumbs up and leave me a comment letting me know. If you have any questions or anything else you want to just ask me, go ahead and post that in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply to everyone. On the screen, you will see a link to my Fish Flingers guide, which was updated a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, check that video out, and the other video I have linked on the screen is a pretty much random video that you'll have to click to find out what it is. And of course, if you haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe to my channel button on the screen, and I'll see you guys next time for another guide. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.